Thanks, Boyd. Morning, everybody. As Boyd already said, my name's Dominic. I'm currently wearing the hat right now of a conservation planner. Although I don't do the conservation planning, I do the implementation side. So briefly, I'm going to have a look and see how many plans do we actually have. What are the kinds of concerns that the client has, and propose a possible way forward. But before I get there, a couple of disclaimers. These are my own views. They're not based on scientifically rigorous method. I apologize to all those hardcore scientists out there. And then they're also augmented by some views that have been aired by other people on the LinkedIn IAI forum. When I talk about a client, I'm talking about the end user who actually uses these plans that we produce. And you'll be surprised by how many people actually do use them. Plans, I refer to plans as the broad-scale term for all the tools and products developed within the broader environmental sector, although my focus as a planner is on the biodiversity aspect. And then I need to point out that perception in the sphere that I work in is critically important. Our clients hold the perspective that we expect too much. So where Cameron was coming with a bowl and saying, please sir, can I have some more? Our clients feel like, what do you want more for? You know, we're already giving you so much. And obviously perception is truth to them. So I also need to point out that in most cases, the exception proves the rule. Okay, so how many plans do we have? We have plans at all sorts of different scales. At the provincial scale, we have our terrestrial conservation assessment, the cons plans. We have freshwater cons plans, estuarine cons plans, and this is just in KZN. We have an SEA done in 2000, listing notice 3 trigger maps. At a finer scale, district, we have EMFs, we have integrated development plans, spatial development frameworks, strategic environmental assessments. At the district scale again, so we have a provincial SEA, district SEA, local municipal SEA. We have municipal open space systems, environmental services management plans. We have vegetation assessments for a district. We have vegetation assessments at the local scale. We get EIA information, which is supposed to inform our plans. We have planning zones. We have micro-movement corridors. It's quite complex as you start drilling down at these different scales. And then just to add another level of complexity, we also have to listen to what national's saying. So as a provincial body, we kind of have this big brothers watching, you know, you will implement our plans. So we have the Messina and Rutherford vegetation assessment. We have the section 52 of NEMBA, threatened ecosystems, and FEPA, the rivers and wetlands. And then, of course, all the international agreements that we have, Ramsar, World Heritage, and the list goes on and on. So the common perspective out there that all we do is review the cons plan is epically failed. All right, so I'm afraid the map didn't come out as beautifully as I was hoping it to. I'm kind of a map person, so when I see a map, it must look good. But what's our role in IEM in the province? Well, we undertake detailed reviews of EIAs, or, well, not just EIAs, but various different land use change applications. We provide advice to NGOs, to government departments, and then obviously the private sector. We attend various different fora to promote integrated decision making so that we can safeguard biodiversity. We interpret various different conservation plans that I mentioned on the slide before, especially to appease Big Brother. And we get involved in various different projects to ensure that decision making does not negatively impact on our on biodiversity. And of course, we have to meet our goals and targets. So we need to ensure that trends and threats to biodiversity are mitigated, and we use the land use change application process to do that. It's a bit of a reactive approach, but it is one of the approaches we are using. Oh, right, I've said that already. we provide expert biodiversity advice. We are generalists. We have to know everything about everything. So people pick up the phone and say, I found a Pickersgill reed frog. Can you identify it for me? It's like, well, I'm really more of a grassland scientist, but sure. Send me the picture. And then we have to implement, we have to stay on the cutting edge. So when there's new stuff, updated stuff, we need to know about it. That map that's there, by the way, is development applications that we've reviewed since 2004. I wish I could zoom in a bit. It's quite scary. Okay, examples of confusion. I really thought that I'd be very quick, but clearly I'm not. So I'm going to read this because this is an actual call I got that I recorded for posterity. The threatened ecosystem layer calls this area Kwambanambi grassland, which is critically endangered. Messina and Rutherford refers to the vegetation as coastal grassland, which is endangered. The provincial vegetation refers to the same vegetation type as either Kwambanambi grassland or Maputoland coastal grassland, depending on which one you look at. The first was regarded as critically endangered, and the latter as vulnerable. What am I supposed to use? So then my response was, well, actually, the provincial conservation plan says that that land parcel is identified as a low biodiversity priority area. But the EMF that I know of refers to the same as being under threat, and therefore of some conservation value. The EMSP says, no, it's actually a national protected area candidate, and therefore should be a candidate offset site. So, yeah. Okay, clearly, I mean, it's a question of scale, but our client is left there saying, what are you guys doing to me? Okay, this is not Sanby's fault, but I happened to pick up 2 books when I was at the planning forum and took a picture because I thought, that's quite a big problem. It was the Prentice problem, it wasn't Sandy's fault, but, yeah. I'm not attacking Sandy, I promise. And then this was from a specialist report. I say specialist because it really wasn't all that special. Attached, please find an Excel spreadsheet containing the ratings of Ezemvelo KZN Wildlife Sea Plan Environmental Conservation Geodatabase System from 2007 for the proposed development site. I copied and pasted, by the way. Along with a map showing the location of the proposed development site relative to the sea plan grid cells. These cells are 1K by 1K grid cells with a listing of possible fauna and flora that has a preservation value. Now, I got this one in May this year. Okay, and he's referring to a 2007 conservation assessment that we haven't been using since 2009. There are various felt and land cover type systems, such as ACOX felt types and the biomes of Southern Africa. But these are primarily maps displaying the location and types of vegetations, not a rating system in terms of environmental vulnerability. So obviously, this is the specialist advising the client. The client is confused. His report adds no value, and it ends up delaying the process so that we can garner a greater respect for clients and we can get provincial data into national products quicker. Okay, that was just a map of the thing that you don't really need to know about.